Hello and welcome to the daily newscast within the United Countries special by the First Ukraine. You can find us at the frequencies available at our website, firstua.com. Victoria Zabian is working for you in the studio. Thank you for joining us. Protest action under the Ukrainian parliament. Miners demand to give them salary and to save benefits for coal industry. Moreover, to foresee the budget money for development of mines and to abolish the taxes of incomes and pensions of miners. All this demanded to amendments to State Budget 2015. Our correspondent is ready to tell you more about the events in governmental district in Kiev.
10 a.m. Usually Parliament meets at this time. Miners are protesting on the square in front of the Parliament building. Most of them are in helmets, which protects them from the rain, and someone used them to attract attention. Leaders of mining unions are performing from the improvised scene. They call Parliament to provide state support for the coal industry in the budget. Government subsidy of the cost price per 1 ton of coal means that nothing is given for the capital building, neither for labor protection. Without these subsidized directions, any mine and the coal industry won't survive at all. Miners are against buying coal abroad. They say that Ukrainian coal is cheaper, but it's not always enough. They claim not to close mines that still have the potential. Government buy coal abroad for the price of $130 and even more expensive, but it is much cheaper. Many mines are closing, and our mine also will. It is right now set to closing. It's Beletseve mine from Debaltseve Ugal. It is rather young. It's only 55 years and has a reserve of 60 million. Other two requirements: not to cancel discounts on gas and electricity that were given to miners and not to raise their retirement age. We insist that our privilege must be returned. We work hard and we must work for 15 years before retirement, but we were told that we will have to work until 65 years old. That's impossible and no one will survive. Here are also miners who have retired. They are injured by introduction of the tax. I have a pension of 4,000 and the income tax is calculated from it. There isn't such thing in any country that from a pensioner who have been working for 40 years in the mine is calculated from I have earned. About the parliament session begins today at 4 p.m. Miners which were preparing their protest didn't know. While deputies weren't there, they have come to the building of the cabinet. There also no one has came out to protesters, so they came back to the parliament building in the afternoon. Victoria N.Savchenko, First Ukraine.
USA threatens Russia with new sanctions of non-fulfillment of Minsk agreements. Russia answers that treaty is working. Situation in Ukraine is also in Iran and Syria. It was the main topics of conversation of the main diplomats of two countries. Sergei Lavrov and John Kerry met in Geneva in several hours before the UN Human Rights Council session. As it was reported by the Russian delegation, they are planning to meet again after the UN meeting.
I reiterated the urgency of Russia's leaders and the separatists that they back implementing the full measure of the commitments under the Minsk agreements and to implement them everywhere, including in Debaltseve, outside Mariupol, and in other key strategic areas. And I underscored this morning that if that does not happen, if there continue to be these broad swaths of non-compliance, or there continues to be a cherry-picking as to where heavy equipment will be moved back from without knowing where it's been moved to, or if the OSCE is not able to adequately be able to gain the access necessary, then there would be inevitably further consequences that will place added strain on Russia's already troubled economy.
The armistice in the Donbass is performing. Those who don't recognize it, those who continue to call to sell the weapons to Ukraine are interested in everything, but not in interests of Ukrainian citizens.
Since yesterday, Russian citizens can cross the Ukrainian border only with international passports. For today, Ukrainian Border Guard Service has not let 7 Russian citizens who tried to enter Ukraine with their Russian passports. For the time being, Ukrainians have a right to enter Russia with Ukrainian passports. March in honor to killed opposition politician Boris Nemtsov had been held in Russia. According to police data, 21,000 people had went to the streets of Moscow. But according to data of opposition, they were from 50 to 100,000 people. People went in silence without slogans and motto, but several participants had been arrested. According to data of Moscow City Council, 50 people had been arrested. All details about the yesterday action in following story.
There is a black poster with the words "A hero never dies" in the beginning of a memorial march in honor to Nemtsov. All participants of the march are passed through several metal detectors. Candles are taken away at the entrance. Before the event, lawyers' telephone numbers were spread in the internet in case of arrests. I didn't plan to visit the anti-crisis march, but I came here because people are dying, not only Nemtsov. The route from Chinatown to the wharf and then to the Great Moskvoreski Bridge. It is almost the same route that was the last of Boris Nemtsov's life. Most of the people were walking in silence. Statements were on the posters. However, it didn't pass without clashes with police. Several people were put to the police department. One of the arrests was right during the airtime of the oppositional TV channel Donetsk. Thousands of people came on streets in St. Petersburg. The route was from metro station Gorkivska to Field of Mars. One of organizers of the march in St. Petersburg was arrested for Ukrainian flags in the crowd. According to march rules, there mustn't be any political symbols. Our purpose is to commemorate the man who did a lot for Russia. A memorial march in honor to Nemtsov in Voronezh was almost terminated by the local anti-Maidan activists. Opponents of President were poured with a brilliant grin. The police was standing nearby and didn't get involved. The memory of Nemtsov was honored in Vilnius by several hundreds of people. They were holding Russian, Ukrainian, Lithuanian and Georgian flags. We want to express our support to that part of Russia who supports the democracy and the integrity of Ukraine. At the same time, the police didn't progress in searching of Nemtsov's murderers. The investigators asked witnesses to share the information. They proposed a reward, 3 million rubles, which is nearly $50,000. Lesa Krasun, First Ukraine.
During the march in Moscow, police had detained Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko. According to him, he did not scream anything, did not bring the posters or flags. He was just wearing a T-shirt with the photo of Mr. Nemtsov entitled "Heroes Don't Die." Russian Interfax writes that Goncharenko was interrogated by representatives of investigation committee in the case about attempted assassination and torturing of the citizen of Russian Federation during the events in Odessa on 2nd of May. Then, during the fire, more than 40 people died. The advisor, Minister of Internal Affairs Anton Gerashchenko, stated that there was no any foreign citizens who suffered in Odessa. Speaker of the Ukrainian Parliament Volodymyr Groysman claimed Mr. Goncharenko as MP has a diplomatic immunity and his detention means the violation of the statements of international law.
This is an unacceptable situation because our deputy was taken into the jail without any provocations. We are very worried about this situation. Ministry of Foreign Affairs has got involved, as I know. This is very bad precedent. I would like to draw attention of the gentleman from Russia. We will have to react adequately. How? I don't know. Many deputies walk along the roads. Which one? Russian? Different.
Now Oleksiy Goncharenko is released. It was reported by his advocate Mykola Polozov. Tomorrow there will be a court process, Mr. Goncharenko said. He is accused in contumacy, despite of the fact that he did not resist police officers. He says that after the detention he was beaten. He asked for a doctor, but nobody helped him. It was the United Country newscast by First Ukraine. You can find more details at our website, firstua.com. Victoria Zabiyan was working for you in the studio. Wish you only good news. Take care and goodbye.